What's up, everybody? Welcome in here on a Monday. Great to have you here on yet another Monday afternoon. Fran Brown press conference upcoming in a few minutes. We'll let you get loaded up in the chat. We'll have a little SMU talk as the Orange head south to Dallas for the first time. South and west and middle. To Dallas for the first time Saturday, 3:30 kick. We'll have full coverage all week long as we normally do. But looking forward to getting in this week. Hopefully we see better this week as we're thinking about, game two for one Ricky Collins starting. But that's what we got here thus far on this Monday. Got something cool vis-a-vis our sponsor. There, we're pointing there to reveal to you later on in the show. And as always, we got it pinned to the top, the link to join us with a live video call after Fran is done chatting today. Come hang out, and we'll do the thing. We'll do all the good stuff, and we'll get into it as we go along. Right now, we are waiting on this. That's a picture of Fran Brown doing a press conference. He's not actually doing the press conference yet. So we'll go to that live as soon as it starts. We'll have our live annotated version. I'm intrigued to hear, I think Fran hit all the right points that one can hit after the game on Saturday when you get your butt kicked, as you did. Now it's 2 days later. I know Fran's, we're focused on this week and all that. I want to hear I've watched the film take on the quarterback. That's what I want to hear today. We've watched the tape. What was Ricky? What was the offense on Saturday? I need to hear that information. Like what is that? What does that look like? Where are we going from here? Because obviously that wasn't good. It's not all on Ricky, but it's certainly not none on Ricky. What we saw on Saturday. What are we going to see? Are we going to actively make sure Yasin Willis gets the ball in his hands more early in the game instead of passing to get the lead and then having Yasin close the game? When you don't have the lead, now you've wasted in many ways your best offensive player. What can Collins improve on from week one to week two as the starter? The biggest improvements you make are week one to week two. College football cliche. College football cliche. Cliche, cliche, cliche. We do the cliche. What is Syracuse going to improve on here week one to week two of Ricky Collins? We saw Steve Angeli, like the beginning of his tenure, the first few minutes of his tenure. He wasn't great in the first half against the Tennessee game. Then he got his feet wet. And he got going. Well, Collins had played even less football than Angeli had played in his career to this point. It's so different than what Kyle McCord was coming in, where he was the Ohio State starter for an entire season of football. It was a totally different ball of wax. Now you're sitting here ready to close out September. Well, you have closed out September on the football side. It will be October, both on Wednesday and by the time toe meets leather on Saturday afternoon in Dallas, 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 local time. In the Central Time Zone on Saturday, that you got a winning record 3-2. Now you got to look at it. Can you get 3 or 4 more? Can Collins get you to a bowl game to keep some semblance of year one, 10-3? Kyle McCord, Fran Brown's the hottest thing going, momentum going. There's still a lot of buzz and vibes around Fran nationally, which is good or bad depending on how you think of it from the Syracuse perspective. But yeah, what is it going to be like for the rest of this season? I think once we saw, one in Clemson, all that 3-1. If he'd come out of Clemson with Angeli healthy, we're having whole different thoughts. The ACC is wide open, all that. I'm not saying with Steve you win last week. They played terrible last week, and if there were more than 3 phases, they would have played terrible in all 7 phases. I mean, they didn't do anything right on Saturday for the most part. So you could easily lose that game with Angeli. But where are we at as far as the quarterbacks and what's going to get going? We are still waiting the start of Fran Brown's weekly Monday press conference to get you ready for SMU Saturday, 3:30. Of course, post-game show live from the spacious basement studios afterwards, as always. So this is tough. Fran has lost 5 games in his Syracuse career. They have bounced back and won the next week in all 4. And that's included visiting the furthest away time zone twice. At UNLV, that was after a loss. That was after the devastating Stanford loss last year. And then at Cal was after the just weird Boston College loss in Chestnut Hill last year. You went west and you won twice. Now you're going south to Dallas. Major difference. Cal last year, UNLV last year, SMU this year. SMU out of those 3 is by far the toughest game. You're playing in a road game after a loss. You're coming out of like your biggest, like, oh my goodness, what happened, loss of the Fran Brown era. The Pitt game last year I filed so differently. You're like, that was so bad that you're like, that could never actually happen again. Saturday, you're like, oh my goodness, I hope that doesn't happen again. The Pitt game last year, I'm like, well, Kyle McCord's not throwing 3 pick sixes and a half again. That's just not happening. The problems we saw on Saturday are like, oh my goodness, these are not one-offs. These all need to be fixed. The defense was just getting run through like Swiss cheese, and your starting quarterback wasn't seeing the field well. And your fair catch of the ball at the 2. I mean, it's just everything that could go wrong did go wrong on Saturday. And now you got to go on the road and play SMU. Fran Brown, as a head coach, small sample size, has never lost 2 games in a row. This, without question, by a wide margin, I think, is going to be his toughest test through 2 years, a year and a half, to keep that streak alive. Exactly a year and a half coming up on Saturday, the midway point. Hard to believe that already of his second year as head coach. Still awaiting the start of the Fran Brown press conference here today. Where you at, Fran? It says we're live. It says we're live. We're streaming. Things are happening, but it's not. Wait. I think I'm hearing things. I'm hearing rustlings in the universes. Mics are being tapped on somewhere over at the football facility. I think Fran Brown may be joining us shortly. We'll put this pretty picture up, and we'll get to Fran. Oh, we've cut. There's what a tease! Don't do it to us like that. Oh my goodness, what a tease! Just podium gone. Podium gone. Why you gotta tease us like that? Fran Brown presumably is coming shortly. Hey Kev, what's going on? Yeah, let's get to it. Where's Fran? Come on, what's going on here? It's Monday. It's now 1:06. I was told we'd have 1 o'clock. Fran, where is Fran Brown? It's a mystery, but we've proven that we can see into the room that Fran will be in shortly. Question 1, Fran, what were you doing for the last 10 minutes, and how vital was it to the game planning and victory this week? How vital was it? What do we got? Saying it's on somewhere else already, Kev? Like what? Am I not live right now? What's happening? Oh, here's Fran. I don't know what we did there. Fran Brown.
It's like everybody, and just as well as all the student athletes that we have here, just for everybody to continue to compete and be able to deal with adversity, right? This is adversity, and I think when adversity hits, you see that you get the best out of people, right? Because you only grow when there's a little bit of discomfort.
Fran, Ricky mentioned bringing the energy this week and how important it was going to be to kind of boost the spirits of the team. What are you looking, from him this week in practice to be able to bring the energy, as a starting quarterback?
He just got to follow me, honestly. Like they all just got to follow me. It's going to be a good week just for us, practice-wise and all that. So he just got to follow me today. We can't really worry about the whole week, though. That's kind of what I did with our schedules that I gave out to him. Usually was having them writing it down the full week. We got to be a little bit more mature right now, and I don't think our guys can truly handle looking at the entire week. So what we're doing is just focusing on one day at a time. So they're going to write down that day. We're just going to focus on Monday, and then we'll take it day by day by day to continue to grow. So that's what I think we need to do right now. for us from just where we are, programmatic, and the age of our football team and the experience on our football team. We got some areas where there is some experience, but for the most part, there wasn't a lot of experience. So I have to be able to grow that and do it a little bit different than I was able to do that last year.
I don't know if programmatic's a word, but I like it.
Coach, following the UConn loss, you talked about you talked about how after Steve was struggling early in that game, you were talking to him, trying to make him laugh, trying to kind of lessen the pressure of that moment. I'm sure on Saturday you were trying to do that same kind of stuff. Why don't you think Ricky responded to it quite as well?
Whoever said he didn't respond to it.
He never seemed to really get out of the struggle in terms of his on-the-field play.
Yeah, see, I didn't think, you got to watch the game with me. Me and Ricky watched the game right after the game Saturday. I was here till probably late, like 12 o'clock almost. Ricky came back up and we sat and we watched the whole game. So if you look at the game, I think the people around him, the coaches, starting with myself, as I stated earlier, we didn't step our game up for a first-time quarterback. So we had to step our game up for a first-time quarterback. But I wouldn't say that he had a couple of mistakes, but I don't think he struggled.
I was wondering how he'd handle a question like that.
Fran, SMU's got a good running attack, and then they've got a dual threat guy in Jennings back there at quarterback. What is like I know if you tell me your secrets, then they're no longer secrets, but what's kind of the plan for containing that attack to make sure
Tackling him.
something different?
Just contain him and tackle him. I mean, what else could I tell you in that? I don't know what else to say to that, to be honest. Like if I say, oh, we're going to max blitz or we're going to, like, I don't know what to say to that. That would be like, I guess I'm not mature enough to answer that question for you because I don't know what I'm supposed to tell you. We just got to tackle them and hope that they don't, like, go crazy, like, and score a bunch of touchdowns, and I hope that we have more points. But I think that Jennings is a good player. Chris Johnson's a good player. 27's really good. They got some good running backs, and they got a really good quarterback. They also got good wide receivers. When you look at 3 and 2 and 8, 10, 11, like, they got good football players. They got good offensive line, right? And they got a really good head football coach. So I don't really know what to tell you on that. I just know that we want them to not have more points than us.
Standard answer. Always important.
Is Luke number 2 right now?
Nah, they just all competing. Everybody's competing.
What do you see from each of the guys that are in that mix right now?
I think they all doing a good job. They haven't been throwing the ball to the defense, so they're doing pretty good. I think Luke probably is number 2, though, to be honest. And then Jakari and what's his name are fighting for the 3rd spot. But, I mean, it goes back and forth all the time. Like, Rich is truly, truly competitive. Like, Rich is a competitive kid, so you just never know.
I love when Fran doesn't answer a question and then just can't help himself and answers it anyway.
Luke
Carney,
how
QB2.
encouraged have you been by their quick ascent through the depth chart, I guess?
They're doing a good job, but it's the Ricky show right now. So, but I'm excited and happy about them. But we kind of locked in on the things that Ricky can do, and but Luke's doing really good, and Jakari and Rich, they're all doing a good job.
This won't be revisited, like, realistically until at least a month from now if Collins continues struggling, I think.
Yeah, so, Emmanuel Ross obviously had a great game after going through some adversity through, camp in the beginning of the year. How do you think he can kind of add an element to this offense as another weapon for Ricky?
Well, he'll bring toughness, accountability. So, like, those things is definitely what he'll bring. And he can catch, he can make some plays. He can block, so that'll help us a lot too. But everything that a receiver needs to be able to do, he has that in his tool bag, so just got to come to compete every day in practice, match my energy today, and we'll see how that goes this weekend.
And he's from New Jersey.
On the kick returning and punt returning front, I know you talked about it a little bit post-game, but how is that something that you guys can maybe work on, in a short span?
By not fair catching at the
next
4.
game? Is that something that you guys can improve on?
We're just going to do that. Let's do that, and we don't got to really worry about it. No, I educated the guys on it a little bit more. I think that was a lack of coaching on my part, but I educated them more. I had the off returner now to be the communicator of bringing it out, not going to come out, and we understand the distance that they want to take it in. And then just young guys. Coach, I was afraid that it was going to be a safety, things of that nature that we went through that you just got to keep going through and keep hammering that away and teaching them that and understanding. So, I mean, the way it went, everything, it was almost like Murphy's Law on Saturday, right? So it's pretty cool when it came to that. We learn from it, right? We're constantly learning, but we're moving on, And either we're going to run it out the correct way or we're just going to do that, and we'll start on the 25.
Murphy still winless.
Fran, do you have any young guys on the defensive line that you think are like physically ready to help you get more out of that unit?
Yeah, we're working on some guys right now, getting opportunity. I think that Nisi can play right now. Nathan, we're trying to get in there. Jalen Prey got the body to be able to do it. He's intelligent enough. It just hasn't all clicked yet. So everybody's big enough. It's just it has to click a little bit more. Like we got Crawford, who definitely can do it, especially Quante Gillian. Like he's right there. That's why he got some snaps. Quante should be getting ready to play soon. It's just like they freshmen, right? And then when the freshmen don't play, I think they be upset because the media and all this stuff, and they think it's like, it takes time. It's okay if you don't play as a freshman. Just get developed. Just develop more and more. Sometimes it's good when they go in and then they realize, dang, I can't do this, right? Which we realized in practice, but sometimes it's helpful that happens that way.
Team's so young, the rotation could be real different in a few months.
Lack of production from the defensive line forced you guys to blitz more this year than you would like.
Nah, not at all.
But yes, they don't have Fadil Diggs.
When you and Ricky sat down to watch the tape, what are the things that you liked about his game that you can build on this week?
That he came in the building to watch it on Saturday after the game. That was pretty cool of him to want to do that, to call me and ask that. I just like he was poised. He wasn't afraid in the pocket, right? He sat in the pocket. I thought the O-line did pretty good, right? Those two kids, I think, will go to the NFL, and they held up really well versus them. So it shows you that they're growing, and they grew and got a lot better. And so we'll be fine when it comes to that.
What does it say about Ricky that he takes that time after the game to sit with you and watch the tape, not even a few hours
That he
after
wants to do better than that.
I mean, it just shows that he's a leader, that he's who we need at quarterback for us to continue to grow, for our program to continue to grow and be successful. I mean, I know for you guys, there's a lot that's going on, but we're still building the program, right? I think how many games we played last year? 13 and 5 this year. So, like, I've only been here for 18 games, right? So it just takes time, but it's good to have a quarterback already wanting to do that. That's his first time playing, first time getting a chance to do it. Having other players that all wanted to come in yesterday and watch stuff ahead of time before we get to go through it with them on Monday and things of that nature. So, I mean, we're just building the program, and I think it's going in the right direction.
Things we didn't have to worry last year when you have a quarterback like McCord. Silence.
Fran, when you're talking about maturity of some of the younger guys with a little bit less experience on
It's
the team,
not always the younger guys with the maturity.
for
It's a mixture of everybody.
the entire team looking at their maturity, are there things that you can do today in practice throughout the week that can kind of ramp up that maturity and get them,
Sprints.
more prepared, I guess, for Saturday?
Somewhat, but it's not that. I think sometimes it's experience. You got to go through some things in life in order to be ready. No matter how much they tell you, right? Like your mom, don't touch that, it's a hot stove, it's a hot stove, it's a hot stove. Regardless, until you go through it, you kind of don't really want to listen to it. And then there's just certain things with myself, like, just from the class piece to, like, everything has to be legit. Like, everything has to be like, you got to go to class, you got to boom, you got to boom. I'm not saying guys don't go to class, but everything has to be right. And when you're completely living right, then I think all the good will come that way. And that's kind of what I pray for. I don't want our team to get, like, see, I know you guys, we want to win every game and go through it, but it got to be something that you're able to sustain and they'll be able to take with them for the rest of their lives. If they go and win and we're just winning and we're running around campus doing anything, doing whatever we want to do, like, and there's no consequences for it, then what's that going to say about them when they're 25, when they're 26, when they're 30? So, like, everything we do, we want it to be done the right way. I want it to be something that you'll be able to sustain. That's what DART is about. That's what CCT, being committed, you care and you trust. So, although we may have lost a couple football games or whatever that may be, there's a lot of games going on in life, and there's different things that they're learning from those games about stuff that may have happened that week that they may have not done right, that they'll be able to use as fathers and husbands. So for me, sometimes if it's a loss you have to take to develop 7 more kids, then sometimes you're going to have to take that loss because that's a part of the game. as long as I know they'll be learning from that, and someone else will be better off when they're your age, right, Chris? And now I'm that age, and I'm not making the same mistake, because I know some 45-year-olds that make the same mistakes that 17-year-olds made because there were no corrections during that time. So, like, that's why kids pick Syracuse, so they could be developed. They want to be developed in all aspects of their lives, not just win a bunch of games so that way everybody's happy. I like the other side sometimes. Like, I like the fact that everybody's against you. I like being the underdog a lot like that. That sometimes shows you how tough you are and what you can come out of, right? So hopefully that answers that one.
Always be recruiting, especially after 38-3.
Coach, you mentioned
Big picture
guys
always
wanting
good.
you mentioned you wanting other guys to match your energy. Who do you feel like are the guys who are specifically matching your energy right now ahead of this week's game?
I don't know, man. I start answering that question, and other kids get mad or their parents get mad. I can't answer that. Who I want to match?
Who has
I just want the whole
72%?
team to be excited, to be thankful. We get to practice today. You don't have to practice today. We get to practice today. We get to go to this school. I get to work here, right? It's an honor. It's a privilege. And I just want everyone to understand and appreciate and know that. So when you do get to walk into Inslee, you should be happy that you get an opportunity to do that. And I think that's all over, though. That's everywhere, not just here. It's like, yo, I get a chance to be the head coach today. I'm going to dominate this thing, right? I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that we're better today than we were yesterday, right? Like, you don't see, like we lost, I'll be upset. Like, as I shook it off. I got to move on, and it's time to move on. That's life. Those are things that we go through. So I want to make sure that my players can follow that. And if they can see that Coach Fran is acting that way and he's on point, then they'll do the same thing.
Fran, did you dominate lunch? Always important.
Samantha, we'll start last question. We'll go Samantha, then finish with Javon.
You got to finish with Javon because he's going to ask the hardest question. Somebody else go after him. It's going to mess it up. Yeah, 'cause this guy.
You mentioned earlier in the beginning of this press conference that you previously had players writing down weekly schedules, but you switched your approach. What is it now? Is it daily schedules?
Yeah, just daily. Just so that way you can narrow in on things, because things change. Right? You might write something down for the whole week, and I have that because I try to do it. But I'm more of a, things change sometimes, right? Like, for instance, let's say Steve had wrote that down for the whole week. He got injured, so like down that schedule changes a little bit. So we're just going to stick to just one day at a time, locking in one day at a time, we're working on making sure we're process-oriented. And I think breaking it down to days will help us. Then when I go to practice, I could be right there focusing on that process, during that drill, during the things that I'm in. When I'm in class, I can do that. So just trying to break some things down.
Do you check those
Orange are
schedules?
currently
How do you-
blissfully unaware of
I used
Tuesday.
to just check them all on Monday. Now I got to change my schedule so it'll be daily all the time. I got to watch the things that I say because you are very particular about the way you ask things and all, and I like it. It's really good. You challenge me a lot. Pretty cool.
Javon, and then one more after.
Fran, is it safe to say Byron is progressing the way you wanted him to, the way you envisioned him once you first
Byron
got him
Washington?
out? So yeah, like
Absolutely.
he's playing a lot of snaps now.
Yeah, Byron's one of the leaders on the team, and he's only a freshman. Like, Byron's a leader. Some of the stuff that he's done, I won't say exactly what it was, but Byron, so just think of all of us, we're all adults. Byron lost over 50 pounds since he's been here. And he's trending in the right direction to go. If everything continues to go the way it's going for him, Byron will be a top 10 draft pick when it's time for him to come out. He's doing well in the classroom. He's doing well here. He embraces hard work, right? I'm really proud of him. Like, I'm really extremely proud of him. I'm happy for him. Now, he's still 17 years old, so there's a lot that he's still going to get better at and do as it's going on. But I'm proud of the kid. He's working hard. He's one of the leaders on the team, leads that freshman group, and a lot of older guys in the room that are adults almost, they kind of listen to the things that he says.
And then with Ricky, you talked about Saturday's film session. What is it you like about Ricky when it comes to how he watches film and the way he can communicate
He's our
with you about what
quarterback.
he sees? And
He's a quarterback, but we sat in there and we talked, and he took a lot of blame for certain things, and he just was watching his stuff, and we were just going through it. I had him teaching me the whole time. Show me this. All right, tell me that. What were you thinking there? Why'd you move your feet like that right there? Why didn't you sit in there and be comfortable? Dan, that could have been a better throw if this would have happened. And we just went through every play like that, and it was pretty cool to be able to sit there and do it. And we got a little bit closer, right? We got a little bit closer just from doing that. Yeah, I mean, he understand. I know he got my back, and he know I got his. And I think that's what it's going to take for us to finish this mission.
Fran has his starting quarterbacks back more than anyone in the country, and then it might change to somebody else the next week. But he has the starters back all the time.
They've already had. What have you seen from their program that you want to see and implement in your program to get them in the right direction, like SMU was in the ACC championship game last year?
I haven't followed their program like that close to say what I see in there that they done or what it was.
They won.
I do respect who their head football coach was. I'm not 100% for sure about what his philosophies and things of that nature are, but I like the way that he wins. I like the way that his players are playing on the football field. I think he does a good job schematically from watching that, but I don't know the day in and day out things that are going on in his program. I just know he's a winner. He's been a winner everywhere he's been, and I think he's a good guy. And I think he got some good coordinators. He has some really good assistant coaches on his staff. So, I mean, those are some of the ingredients that it takes to do what he's doing. So I'm pretty sure that he's doing everything else right with the stuff inside the building. But I don't know him well enough or know that program to really tell you this is what I want. But I wouldn't mind being in the playoffs and being in the conference championship. So he's done that, and I admire that, and I like it. Thank y'all.
Fran would like to win games like SMU won games last year. Can't argue with that. Can't argue with that. Fran, not boys with Rhett Lashley. It would appear SMU's head coach, but yeah, you know what can you do? Yeah, and SMU T-Takes and what's up T-Takes? They got that money. I don't know if anybody out there has heard about this. It's this newfangled invention out there. It's called oil. I really see big things for oil coming up historically. SMU's got oil money, and they know how to spend that oil money. That's why they got into the ACC, because they're like, we got oil money. You keep your money. We're cool. Yeah, do whatever you want. That should have been the first sign the rest of the ACC should have been scared the bejesus out of them. SMU, oil money equals NIL money, equals coaching money, equals facility money, and pretty much in this day and age equals wins. So SMU's got that oil money. If anyone wants to chime in, we got the link posted in the chat for a video call you can get in. I do want to show you all one quick little thing here, a little preview. We had some exciting moments in the we're in the spacious palatial basement studios right now. But before that, this morning we were hanging out in the old backyard, and things were happening in the old backyard, and I would like to now present to you for the first time ever. This is the Wild Birds Unlimited Backyard Bird Cam. Yeah, Bird Cam. Where you at, birds? Come on, birds. Come get some. Yeah, there we are. They're not eating right now. It's a bird feeder with a camera in it. It's live, and it runs on solar power. What will they think of next? There's a bird camera in my backyard. We'll have a nice video coming up later on that lets you know what that's all about and how you can get one of those yourself. We'll get that out this week or next. My guy Matt came over and installed that puppy in the old yard this morning. So there we are, a live view of the backyard. Absolutely nothing is happening in my backyard right now. It is. Oh wait, there's a light breeze. You can see there is movement. This is not a picture. Look at the leaves. They're moving around a little bit. Look at them leaves. All right, so we got that. Stay tuned for more on that upcoming in the coming weeks and days. But I think Fran answered to me the most important questions. All of the important questions were, hey, you played like crap. What now? That they're changing. We got a day calendar. Whatever. So Tuesday. What's on Tuesday? I don't know. Show up. Just show up and things will happen. That's right, Spatch and the Weeks. But the Ricky Collins question. At the moment, I like everything about Ricky Collins with one extremely important caveat, and the caveat that nothing, unfortunately for Ricky, is more important than. I liked Ricky's post-game press conference. I liked that Ricky came in and watched film with Fran after the game on Saturday. Why wait when you can do it now? I like that hearing from Fran. It sounded like Ricky was able to answer a lot of the why. A lot of playing quarterback is understanding the why you're doing what you're doing. What about the defense or the play or whatever led you to make that the decision? Is the process correct even though the result was wrong? I've liked everything about Ricky. But, and what do they say? It doesn't matter until you say the word but. I liked how Ricky handled himself on Saturday, but, man, didn't like the way he played because he did not play well on Saturday. To Fran's point, is it all on the quarterback? No, it's not all on the quarterback, but this is how football works in 2025. Whether it is or not, it is all on the quarterback. So, week 1 to week 2, Ricky Collins, where is the growth going to be for Collins? That is a season-defining question now. Now that Angeli is no longer an option, now that we saw what Steve could do with this offense earlier. So, man, now we've been spoiled. It's not just McCord last year. We knew what this group was capable of with Angeli at the helm. So now Collins is competing with all of these comparisons. His first start went about as poorly as it could have gone. Where are you going to go now? From the sound of it, the way Fran is saying it, Ricky off the field, Ricky at practice is making all the right steps to get better. We'll find out on Saturday because doing all the things to get better does not guarantee you will get better. The process is good, but this is a results business. This is a results business. Just because you watched a lot of film doesn't score you touchdowns. So we'll see how that all goes Saturday down in SMU, down in Dallas. Well, it's not about the correct answers. It's from the sound of it, Spatch of Louise, the correct answers you can figure out later. It sounded like, this is reading between the lines, that Collins could have been asked by Fran, why did you do that? And his answer could have been, now, for now, he started one game. As long as you have an answer now for why did you do that, just having an answer is a reasonable benchmark to go forward. Now the key is, okay, that was an answer. I appreciate that you had an answer. That was not the correct answer. How are we going to get you from A to B so your answer is correct the next time? So you're right, Weez. No, Ricky didn't have the correct answers. But the fact that from the sound of it anyway, again, this is from Fran. Who knows what happened in their meeting. But from the sound of it is, at least he had, a thought process of what he was going through and how it all went. So hopefully Ricky will, to the way he answered it, like Steve Angeli was telling me about his eyes after the game. He didn't see the field well. Now, is that a literally not seeing the field well thing where you haven't played a lot recently so things are moving too quick? Is that it's just not translating from the film room to the game field, hopefully yet? I don't know. There's many of reasons that can lead to that that A plus B isn't equaling C out there on the field. So hopefully it makes a step. But man, what we saw on Saturday doesn't cut it. Absolutely doesn't cut it. Anything else, chat, before we wrap it up here on this Monday? We got anything else before we wrap it up on this Monday? Normal schedule coming up this week. We'll have plenty of content available for you across all of our Brian Higgins 315 accounts on the YouTube, the Gram, the TikTok, the Facebook. If you're following on Facebook, Facebook's weird. Try to also follow the 315 with Brian Higgins page, which is different than following me. Why? I don't know. Mark Zuckerberg said so. I don't know why. It just is. And the Twitter, the X will be in all of those places all week long. And do stay tuned for the bird cam. Will I be talking football into a bird feeder in my backyard before the week is out? Yes. The answer to that question is a decided yes. Is that a good idea? No. It's a great idea to talk football into a bird feeder. It's a phenomenal idea. And I can control the whole thing from my phone. Technology is kooky. We can make it all happen. All right, people. Thanks for hanging out on a Monday. We'll see you all week long on the social medias. Post-game show, of course, Saturday on YouTube right here. It's a 3:30 kick down in Dallas. So, I don't know, 7-ish? 7-ish we'll convene here on Saturday afternoon. We'll see what else the week brings. How do you nominate the show for the the New York State Broadcaster Awards? Unfortunately, it's an invited organization. Like your station and stuff have to be members of it. So there's some steps and hoops to go through. So for now, we'll just enjoy we have to move some of those. They're kind of blending into the wall. They need more space. But the two fine things, I feel like a weatherman right now. The two fine statuettes awards on the shelf there. We'll have to do. All right, so there we are. That's our Monday. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. We'll do it again, of course, as the week goes along. Good seeing you all.